Welcome to Our Communiversity Today, sponsored by Pendleton Community Bank and Cucumber and Company, a community affairs program from West Virginia Institute of Technology in Beckley, hosted by Dr. T. Ramon Stuart, president of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, working to make a difference in Southern West Virginia. Guest opinions expressed on this program may not represent the opinions of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, Southern Communications, or its sponsors. And now, with today's program, here's Dr. Stewart.
Welcome to Our Communiversity Today. Again, I'm Dr. Ramon Stuart, president of WVU Tech here in Beckley. And I am thankful that you chose to be with us today as we explore Our Communiversity. As always, when we talk about Communiversity, I believe that the community is the university and the university is the community. And when you think about the community and you think about the university, there is an institution of higher education in this state, one that shines above all the rest. And I'm so proud, not only am I a two-time graduate of that institution, but I also have the ability to work at one of the regional campuses for the WVU system. And I believe in the things that WVU does as the state's only Research One institution. One of the big things is the state's flagship institution is not just Research One in terms of research, but it is focused on making sure that the citizens of Southern West Virginia and beyond know that you are the one. And so today in studio with us is the gentleman that's been tapped as the 27th president of West Virginia University to lead it to new heights. And that's none other than Dr. Michael Taft Benson. And so today we're going to explore Dr. Benson, who he is, what his vision is for West Virginia University. And as always, on Our Communiversity Today, our goal is to ask and answer two questions. Why not us and why not now? So right after this break, we'll be back with more Our Communiversity Today on News Talk WWNR.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride at Pendleton Community Bank. Our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank. Here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
There are so many ways to explore WVU Tech. Come tour our state-of-the-art facilities, meet our Dean of Students, and learn about student life, from clubs to mental health resources and student support services. See what living on campus is like and get financial aid advice. You'll see why being a Golden Bear is right for you. Visit wvutech.edu/admissions for all the ways to visit our campus.
Holy cow, I can't believe the time that I've wasted, and this website still is down.
With arms wide open, Cucumber and Company is ready to take your business higher with a custom website that actually works for you. Don't wait until your old site takes its one last breath. Get a fresh design today at cucumberandcompany.com.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity Today. Again, we are visiting with the 27th president of West Virginia University, Dr. Michael Taft Benson, to discuss not only his new appointment as the president of West Virginia University, but his vision also. President Benson, how are you today?
I'm doing well, T. Thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's certainly good to have you here in Southern West by God, Virginia. You started, I think it was July the 15th, 2025, and this is actually your third visit to Beckley. What do you think about Southern West Virginia?
Well, the first visit was shortly after I took office. I came with Paul Kreider. I think you got stuck on a plane somewhere in Chicago. So your staff, your faculty rolled out the blue and gold carpet for us. I still have in my office in Morgantown the periodic table that a chemistry faculty member made for me on the home printer. And I just was so bowled over by the feeling of the community and the town. I surprised you a couple of weeks ago. I was driving back from Myrtle Beach to see my family. They're still in South Carolina, and just popped in, and we had a conversation on the front porch of your office there, the rocking chairs. And then today, I get to spend even more time here and meet some more of the community members and certainly spend time on your campus. And I always love coming here, so thank you for having me.
Excellent. Well, we certainly appreciate you for coming down. And you talked about family and everything. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm the youngest of 6 children. I was raised, kind of moved around Utah, Texas, Indiana. And then I spent about almost 7 years overseas in my 20s. 2 years in Italy, 3 years in England, and a year and a half in Israel. And I say that because it really helped form my kind of worldview and perspective on life. That learned some really valuable lessons. Learning about different cultures and learning a language. I speak fluent Italian. But my mom and dad were simple people. My mom never graduated college. My dad wanted to be a high school principal, but found his calling in sales. He had a cookware company that he had his entire life, and he provided all of us 6 kids chances that my mom and dad never dreamed of. And my mom was a piano teacher, so the rule of President Stuart was we had to practice on the days we wanted to eat. And so every day we practiced. I've played the piano since I was 5. So music was a big part of our family growing up. And I have sisters that are much more proficient than I. I have an older brother. He passed away a couple months ago, but he was an editorial cartoonist. Won a Pulitzer Prize, drawn for the Arizona Republic. So I have 5 children, and 2 are in media. So I've always had a chance when I get interviewed, I tell the people, my daughter does what they do. She's a medical reporter for KSL TV in Salt Lake City, and she does carries the camera around and writes the copy and does the editing and producing. And then my son Sam writes for Politico in Washington, D.C., and then 3 kids one's in college playing soccer, one's a senior in high school, and one is a emerging PGA wannabe professional. He's a very good golfer. So that's our family. And I have a wife, Debbie. We've been married almost 20 years, and best thing that's ever happened to me. So that's the most important thing in my life is my family. My faith is also very important to me, and I love education. I've been at this for 30 plus years, working in public higher education, and love every second of it.
Yeah, well, certainly, you can see as I look into your eyes when you talk about your family and stuff, you can see the lights go on and the beautiful family, the 5 kids, the accomplished kids. And, but, one of the things that I thought was interesting about you, as you were selected, going through the selection process, they were looking for an individual that walked on water. And being a member of that search committee, I can, might, if I didn't have an NDA or whatever, be able to tell you about it. But what happens is, one of the big things about West Virginia University, I think is unique with your background is actually the agricultural piece.
Yeah. And
your background actually has you deep rooted in agriculture. Tell us more about that.
So my grandfather was the oldest of 11 children in a small farming community in the southeast tip of Idaho called Whitney, about 20 miles north of where he went to school. First in his family to go to school at Utah State, the land grant of the state of Utah. And from there, President Stuart, he was an extension agent for the University of Idaho. He worked for the Farm Bureau. He was their lobbyist in Washington, D.C. And his kind of ag policy and his familiarity with ag economics, he went to Iowa State, got a master's degree, was 6 months shy of earning a PhD at Berkeley when he had to go back to the family farm. They needed his help, so he left all of his graduate studies and an unfinished dissertation and went back to the family farm, but got the attention of people like Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he invited him to be in his cabinet as the Secretary of Agriculture. So not from a farm state. I mean, Idaho's known for potatoes, but it's not Iowa, it's not Kansas, it's not one of the Dakotas or Nebraska. But from that, it kind of passed down to subsequent generations. I have a sister that lives on a huge cattle ranch in northern Utah, a nephew that has finished an ag degree at Texas A&M. So I really appreciate how hard these farmers work because I saw it in my own family. And, the bread basket that is America, you think about all the food we provide, yes, to this country, but how much we export. And I hope we never take that for granted because I've seen a lot of ag in this state, and we saw it in Kentucky when we were there, out in Utah as well. But never take for granted any meal you eat because a lot of work went into getting that from farm to table.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's kind of crazy. You talk about your grandfather being one of 11 children, and you talk about your upbringing, the different things like that, and really that notion of never taking anything for granted. And even you spending 7 years across seas, becoming prolific and proficient in actual Italian. But those types of things actually help shape and mold who you are. So tell us a little bit about your background, your journey to become the 27th president of West Virginia University.
Yeah, I went to grad school in England. I had a wonderful opportunity to go to Oxford and study Middle Eastern history because I had done a study abroad in Israel. And I wanted to go to law school. And when I broke the news to my family that I was going to do a doctorate in Middle Eastern history, there was a very long pause on the phone. And my dad, to his credit, said, well, I have no idea what you're going to do with that, but if that's what you want to do, then we'll support you. And that led to my first job at the University of Utah, working in the development office. So as a fundraiser, I became the assistant to the president, who, President Stuart, I know we all have mentors in life. And I look at the role that Bernie Matchin played for me. He was the provost at Michigan, came to Utah as the president, and gave me my first chance in administration. And I'm so grateful to him. He just turned 80. His assistant called and asked me to do a video for his birthday. And I had a chance to reflect on how important it is to serve as a mentor to that rising generation of leaders that are going to take over for us when you and I are done what we're doing. So that led to my first presidency when I was 36 at a small, very rural college in central Utah, Snow College. From there, we went to southern Utah, high desert, 6,000 feet. Not far from some of the beautiful national parks out in Utah, Zion National Park. And then we moved to horse country in Kentucky. And that was my really first exposure to Appalachian culture and history and kind of the ethos of Appalachia, because we were just 10 miles from Berea College. I'm sure you know about Berea College. And then from there, we had a chance to go to South Carolina, coastal Carolina, and had a wonderful time there. Great people, strong athletic program for a school that's not been around very long. And then the chance to come here presented itself. And while we were very happy in Myrtle Beach, a chance to come to a place like West Virginia does not come around so often. And so when I looked at my own career trajectory and what I wanted to do, and to be at a place where you feel like you can make a difference. I mean, you can go work at a huge R1 institution anywhere, and you're just kind of a little cog in that machine. Here, I really feel working with you, working with Jerry over there at Potomac State, the folks on our campus, like we can make a difference and engage people and make a difference for the state. And that's what I've really learned as I've now been to 29 and 55 counties, is that this university belongs to the people of the state of West Virginia. It means a tremendous amount. The campus here is in so many ways a lifeline to southern West Virginia, just like Potomac State is in the Panhandle, the Eastern Panhandle. And Morgantown has provided this opportunity where WVU Medicine, some of the hard science programs that we offer, my own Department of History, right there in Chitwood Hall, right next to Woodburn, what's 3 of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen on a college campus. So all of that to say, President Stuart, how honored I am to be here. It's not lost on me how important this job is, not because of me, but because I represent the state university that belongs to the people of the state.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, again in studio with us today, Dr. Michael Taft Benson, the president of West Virginia University. We're going to take a short break, so stay tuned to News Talk WWNR for more Our Communiversity Today.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride at Pendleton Community Bank. Our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Holy cow, I can't believe the time that I've wasted, and this website still is down.
With arms wide open, Cucumber and Company is ready to take your business higher with a custom website that actually works for you. Don't wait until your old site takes its one last breath. Get a fresh design today at cucumberandcompany.com.
Looking for the best college decision in West Virginia? WVU Tech has just been ranked the top school in the state and is the college with the best return on investment. Our 6 ABET accredited engineering programs and nursing program are ranked in the top 100 in the nation. When you become a Golden Bear, you're choosing a top quality education that will pay off. Discover more at wvutech.edu today.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity Today. Again, in studio is the president of West Virginia University, Dr. Michael Taft Benson, and we're here discussing his new role as the president of West Virginia University. Again, the state's Research One flagship institution that makes sure that every citizen in the state of West Virginia knows that they are the one that makes this state great. So, President Benson, you've been here since July 15, 2025. You've been to almost 30 of the 55 counties in southern West Virginia. Your background says you know where you're going and even suggests you might know how to get there. What have you seen thus far that has inspired you to create a vision for where you want to take West Virginia University?
Well, first, I mentioned our time in Kentucky where you have 120 counties, and people don't say I'm from Louisville, I'm from Jefferson County, or I'm not from Lexington, I'm from Fayette County. I've found the same in West Virginia. People are very proud of their home county. And as we've gone from community to community, you can see this affinity that they have, this attachment to their hometown, their home county. Growing up in Texas, I came to appreciate that Texans love their history. West Virginians love their history just as much, if not more. So I've heard about the Golden Horseshoe Tea, and I think I want to study for it as hard as I can and see if I can pass the exam because it's inspiring to start like we did in the Northern Panhandle in Wheeling at Independence Hall. And as I told a TV reporter the other day, we were at the State Museum in Charleston on Wednesday, and you appreciate that West Virginia seceded from a Confederate state, became the 35th star on that flag. And at the museum in Charleston, they had a flag that was sewn right after that. And this flag flew over the Soldier Cemetery in November of 1863 when Abraham Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address. And think about the symbolism of that. You know, this newest addition to the Union that Lincoln was trying his best to keep together and to defeat the Confederate States and eradicate slavery. And we had a piece of history there with that flag. And to look at it was really inspiring. And as a historian, maybe I get energized by moments of like that other people don't see. But that to me is really kind of part and parcel of the richness of the tapestry that one finds in West Virginia. And you can go from town to town, and there's a historical fact, or there's a marker, or there's a incident or people that made an impact on that particular area. And I really have loved those moments of serendipity when I come across those, and I find them everywhere I go.
Yeah, you know, I'm very pleased to hear you saying you're getting out and about and really learning about West Virginia. You know, understanding where we've been, appreciating where we are, but also more importantly, having a vision for where we could or should go. So, you know, I know recently you had a State of the University address, and this is your first address to not only the people in Morgantown or throughout the West Virginia University system, but also to this state. So tell me a little bit more about your vision that you unveiled during your State of the University address.
Well, first, I've told everywhere I've gone, people that will listen, this university, as I said, belongs to them. And so the message I give to high school students is between our three campuses, whether it's in Beckley, whether it's in Kaiser, whether it's in Morgantown, there is a place for you. If a smaller campus is in your wheelhouse and you want to focus on nursing or ag, Potomac State is perfect. If you want to come here and look at the outstanding robotics teams you have, your engineering programs, your hard sciences, in a smaller community that really embraces the university, you talk about Communiversity, I mean, one does well, the other one does well, then Beckley is for you. If you want to come and do medicine or some of the hard sciences, or have an experience in in a college town, then Morgantown is perfect. So whatever high school students decide to do beyond high school is completely up to them. Whether it's a trade, a 2-year degree, a diploma, associate's degree, whatever, 4-year degree, find the one that's right for you. So I want to be the university for every West Virginia student that wants to come to our institution, but also recognize that there is a place for them someplace. So I think that we have to make sure we're very clear on that message. Another thing is with 55 counties is the land grant. We've got extension office in every single county. So whatever happens on our campuses, we could take that and literally get it out in the community, kind of flood the community with the information, the knowledge that we've developed, and apply it to people in a very real world sort of way. So I see that everywhere I've gone into this with these extension offices. I'd also say WVU Medicine, now with 25 hospitals in 4 states, is helping to eliminate what we call those health deserts or health islands. So I know we were talking about some of the health issues you've had, and that now we have a cancer center that's going to be built in Princeton, and we went to the groundbreaking down there a few months ago. So people won't have to drive a great distance. So provide opportunities to have access to that care that is the best in the world. I call it best of class. I mean, you can maybe go to the Mayo Clinic, or you can go to MD Anderson, or go somewhere else. What we've got right here on our very own state is as good as you can get anywhere.
Yeah, I tell our listeners, and I think I've been open about, I had stage 2 nuclear grade 3 kidney cancer. And so it required me to have a radical right nephrectomy. So you can function fully with one kidney. But one of the things that I thought was very telling in terms of my package to come back home was a commitment to take over my care from Emory University, which is world renowned for, the particular surgery that I had. And it was actually transferred here. But living in Raleigh County, I actually can get all of my blood work and different screenings that I have to do every 6 months. I can get them in Princeton. And then before I can drive from Princeton back to Raleigh County, my results are already being reviewed by my physician team, my oncologist, my nephrologist in Morgantown, telling me if I need to make some adjustments. So I think that opening healthcare up to the entire state, I think is very, very critical, because as you talk about the state and you realize that you get into food deserts, you really get into medical care deserts and stuff, it's important that we give the citizens of this state access to the modern healthcare that is needed and required.
Absolutely. You put it as well as anybody can put it right there.
Yeah. So when you look at those things, 25 hospitals, being a institution, whether it's in Kaiser, here in Beckley, or right there in the heart of everything in Morgantown, being an institution for the people of West Virginia. Tell me what that feels like. Tell me, you're an early riser. You get up every morning at 5:30 in the morning. What does it feel like waking up with that burden on your shoulders?
I don't know if I'd call it a burden as much as I would call it a responsibility and an opportunity. Responsibility to the people of the state, to the history of the university. You mentioned I'm the 27th president, so I'm following 26 people that put in place a really solid foundation in concert with a lot of other people. And to build on that is a big responsibility. So as we've talked about our strategic plan and some of the things we want to accomplish, we've taken the Let's Go flag that you see all over the place. You see on hats, bumper stickers, flags, and associated with each of those letters an action verb. So the L, lead with pride. Take pride in being the state's land grant institution. What that means, a commitment to teaching, research, and service. E, empower through education. There's nothing, President Stuart, that will change a person's life more than access to education. It is the great equalizer of the conditions of men, is what Horace Mann said. The T, transform lives. That gets to the healthcare side of things, the WVU Medicine, having access to that care. The S, stake our claim. So the imagery of putting your flag in the ground and saying, this is our state. We're going to own it. We're going to do right by the citizens here, and we're going to transform lives through education. The G is grow our reach. So get into every high school, continue to hit that very consistent message of come to college. We hope WVU is right for you, and this is the reasons why. And then the last one, outwork and outperform. There are a lot of people out there with more resources or maybe a bigger enrollment or a bigger endowment, but nobody will outwork us. And as a result, we can outperform.
Yeah, and I love it. I talked about the burden, but really you understand the notion that to whom much is given, much is expected. And
Yes,
I
sir.
think that is so profound. And I can hear our listeners right now as you spell out what it means to go. Let's go. I can hear them in their cars traveling saying, let's go.
Mountaineers.
And let's go. And so this is so important. And as you're here in Raleigh County and everything, looking at different things, obviously, WVU Tech is seated here. Again, you talk about the engineering programs. We're in the top 100 in the nation, top 20 in small rural institutions in Southwest or the southern part of the United States. What is your vision for helping the citizens of Southern West Virginia grow through WVU Tech, grow through Morgantown, and also grow through Kaiser?
I think a lot of that falls to us to make sure they know what we offer, to avail themselves of the services and the degree programs and everything that the universities in these three locations provide. You have to know about them. How do you get access to them? Whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's a hybrid, whether it's through those extension offices. I think that's really key. Number two is the persistent messaging of we're here to help you. And as I've gone about President Stuart and talked to people, I've asked them, how can the university help you? And they've been very forthright, and they've told me exactly, how we can help them.
Yeah, and I say this all the time, President Benson. People must know who we are.
Yeah.
They must know what we do, but we must assure them that we can, shall, and will help them too.
Yeah.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, again in studio with President Michael Taft Benson, 27th President of West Virginia University. We're going to take a short break. Stick with News Talk WWNR as we close out this edition of Our Communiversity Today.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride. At Pendleton Community Bank, our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Holy cow, I can't believe the time that I've wasted, and this website still is down.
With arms wide open, Cucumber & Company is ready to take your business higher with a custom website that actually works for you. Don't wait until your old site takes its one last breath. Get a fresh design today at cucumberandcompany.com.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity Today. Again, I want to thank our guest, the 27th president of my alma mater, my two-time alma mater, the president of West Virginia University, Dr. Michael Taft Benson. I want to thank him for being here with us. I want to thank him for his commitment to Southern West Virginia. As you know, I believe that Southern West Virginia is the foundation of this great state. And you heard President Benson talk about how important it is to build on a solid foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a man that has been a leader of multiple institutions of higher education, a man who has been committed to meeting people where they are, but most importantly, helping them go places they never dreamed of going. So let's go with President Benson. Let's go with the Mountaineers, and let's go as we move our state to new levels. I ask that you please visit WWNRradio.com for additional information about President Benson and how you can help build our Communiversity today for a brighter Southern West Virginia tomorrow.
You've been listening to Our Communiversity Today, sponsored by Pendleton Community Bank and Cucumber & Company. a production of West Virginia University Institute of Technology and Communiversity partner, Southern Communications in Beckley. For more on this program and contact information, visit our website at wwnrradio.com.